Martin, in your house.
Yes, yeah, welcome to my house.
Welcome to your house.
Yeah.
Episode 47, we're back live again.
Yeah. Bit of a break, isn't it? A little bit of a break.
We have. I've been busy this time, it's not been you, it's been me. So apologies for the slow turnaround in our things. But back with a extra special. Where are we today, Martin? We're at Writtle College. Is where we are.
Of course we are.
Celebrating
Writtle College, yeah.
Celebrating the double one tournament that we are not part of this year.
Because it was cancelled.
Yeah, they're doing it.
Oh, no, they're doing it virtually, yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Drinking beer in your garden and enjoying ourselves.
And we've gone for Corona.
We did,
haven't we?
We did go for
Apparently it's a part of a range. They've also... Epilepsy.
Right. Anyway, so we have two new patrons, Martin, David Myers and Michael O'Neill.
Yes.
So you were waiting for me to get that wrong, weren't you? So guys, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
I was going to do. We can do a draw today. We've got a Schwerpunk. I haven't got it in front of me, but we've got a Schwerpunk and a Rally Point to give away. It's the final gift from our anonymous donor. So again, thank you to him. By the way, we have a lady that does watch us and she subscribed to us. So yeah,
excellent.
I will link her channel.
Good taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like old lady gamer, something like that. I don't. We'll figure it out who. But so we have to say hello. And
we have to say hello. Yeah.
Martin's still available. You're still on the market. Martin, I don't know if that's you asked me so, didn't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Please get in touch. Please.
I could have said some bad things there about washing up, but I wasn't going to do that.
There's piles of washing up.
No, that's absolutely not right. There needs to be more. Let's say there needs to be more women playing this. We've not done a very good job of encouraging that. But it's interesting why there is such a big divide in wargaming for guys and girls. So
I mean, there are girls that game, but they tend not to play war games of this sort.
Yeah, the Euro game is very popular for girls, but war game is just something that's not part of that.
There certainly was a lady that used to come to some of the tournaments.
She was good, and she beat Sam Pryor.
Did she?
Sam's a very good
player, yeah.
And she beat him. And
I can't remember that lady's name or even her husband now.
No, I can remember them both. And she didn't help. She wore a T-shirt, didn't she? And it had weapons of mass distraction.
That's right.
Do you remember that? But she was very nice. And
I wasn't looking at the chest.
I just read the T-shirt. That's all I did. But very nice. So yeah, we need more women, I guess, in wargaming.
Yeah, but we're not really saying to them, come on, girls, play wargaming, because there's none of them. Well, there's one of them watching us. One of them, but maybe. I don't know what we would have to do to make it more. I mean, I think it's like it's society, isn't it? We boys grow up playing toy soldiers or whatever, and girls encouraged to play something. I don't know.
You don't. I mean, obviously, the whole war thing has been very male dominated, hasn't it? The women doing the difficult support roles of the medics and that kind of side of things that you don't see. I know making all the munitions and things like that and do everything. So
perhaps we should invent a game where you got to build a shell or something.
Do you think women would be queued up to play that one, wouldn't they? Yeah. We're going to get into trouble with anything.
Yeah,
so,
I think we will.
Well, listen, anyway, so we do need more women playing. That's the key thing there. Right. Yeah, okay. Definitely. So what are we doing today, Martin?
I don't know. Encouraging women to play. So we are playing all the scenarios from the double one tournament.
We are playing our own virtual double one. Yeah. So,
but not virtually.
That's right. That's true. So we're okay to still see each other.
Small groups. We meet in small groups. The tournament had to be cancelled. That's right.
Exactly. So we are playing. So we've got the first choice of scenarios that we had to pick between was the Governor, which was a action pack 162.
Yep.
A small stack and Schnapps, which was a Schwerpunk 270. And Take the Crossroads, which was from the Quick Pack.
Yeah.
Which I think is that...
Quick 18, Quick 19?
Yeah, is that one of the... I don't know, is that a Canuck, Lone Canuck one? I'm not sure.
I'm honest, I don't know.
It's got the maple leaf.
Oh, it is then, yeah.
So yeah, I haven't seen that pack at all. So we picked the Schwerpunk one, didn't we?
Yes.
Tanks on both sides. Yeah. Looked quite small to play. 4.5 turns. So... Very briefly, we'll just quickly run through the scenario, I suppose. Germans defending, Russians attacking. You're the attacking Russians.
Yep.
I fancy your side rather than my side. You've got 5 tanks to my 3 that can barely...
and pretty much double your infantry as well.
Yeah. But you've got very little time. Classic Schwerpunk scenario, isn't it? Very little time on the attackers' sides. Got to fall back and defend a building.
Yeah.
And not lose all your tanks.
That's right. You've got 2 tanks?
3 tanks. 3 tanks and a half track.
That's right. The 3 tanks got a very good gun, haven't they? The 75 double L.
Yep.
But then I've also got those ISU...
You've got the big
they got 26 armour on the front and stuff like that.
20,
so.
20 armour and it's going to be difficult. I can roll low when I need to, so that's what I bought my own dice today.
You don't do that, yeah. Okay.
So we're going to play that. Then we're going to play. We're going to pick. We've got the secret scenario, which we just found out that we're going to play, and we'll talk about that one in a bit.
Yeah.
And then I'm staying here tonight. We're drinking tonight.
And we're going to finish the tournament tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to do that. So plenty to play for.
Yeah.
We're going to play through these quite quickly. You won't know the difference, but we'll play through these quite quickly. We'll talk about them as quick as we can throughout each one of them.
Yeah.
We'll do our draw for the Patreons towards the end. I think there's no time for top 5s or anything like that.
No, too much ASL.
Too much. We've got a lot.
We've got a lot
and
to
it's I got here. What time did I get here? Like 11, 11:30. I went wrong. I went wrong a couple of times getting here.
We're actually at 2 scenarios behind the tournament at the moment.
And it's 2:30. Yeah. Now we haven't mentioned as well that you're half Welsh, and Wales are playing.
That's true.
I don't think that's once in public knowledge, but.
Well, I don't mind that big public knowledge. Go for it. I'm not ashamed.
Okay, all right. But yeah, so Wales are playing today. Who are they playing?
Do you know? I don't have a clue. Do you know this is the first time there's been a major football. I'm not really massively into football, but I'll follow major tournaments when England are in, or Wales, or whatever. A bit less likely that Wales is in usually, but this time I just not interested at all. I'm not going to show the slightest interest. No, because England utterly let me down every year of my life, apart from the year before I was born.
We've been married. We know that again. Okay. It's all right. It's okay. You can still keep up hope.
I guess so. Yeah.
All right. I'll quickly talk about my setup. I'm going to put it on the screen right now.
Yep.
I mean, there's nothing really to talk about much. There may well be a medium machine gun in one of the 2 stacks. You can be the guess of whether it's in a steeple or towards the German left flank. For those playing at home, it's and we've got the tanks covering the main angles. There's no bore sighting. There's environment conditions are wet. There's no kindling, so I can't get dirty.
Very straightforward in terms of SSRs. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And you are flying down the road. I've already seen a big mistake that I've made.
Yeah.
Great. Jesus, just missed that spot. Yeah, you've got a line of sight to my tank already.
Yeah.
It's a schoolboy error that I have made. That's put me right off this game already. And yeah, I mean that's it. I'll be a tank down in about 3 seconds time.
I think so.
But I don't know why did I do that. I even remembered to check that.
To check that.
Yeah. And then fell for that straight away.
So that's where my armour leader is.
Thanks.
Yeah. And that's why I'm crew exposed. Yeah. It's only a hit on an 8.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then you probably go roll a list of 12 though. It's on the kicks a kill.
I think you've just got to roll.
That's listen to 12. All right, good stuff. Well, okay, that's a spoiler. So what's going to happen?
Yeah, I have low ammo and stuff like that on B. It's a B11 number. B11 number.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we look forward to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Jeez. Okay then. All right. So prizes for today. What did you prepare?
Prizes.
You're running a tournament, the double one tournament that you're hosting.
Oh right. Okay. Hang on. I've got
a tissue. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
We're going to work. We'll work on that.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Good stuff. Okay. So we'll be back.
Should I talk about my setup?
Go for it.
Well, I've set up one tank with a line of sight to one of his tanks, and then we're going to just rush forward and we're going to try and kill a lot on the way and move quick.
That's because it's a Schwerpunk scenario.
Yeah.
You know.
We're going to move quick and kill en route on the fly.
Yeah. Schwerpunk definitely have a style that they are very good at. But I do feel like it's the kind of the same thing with Schwerpunk. You've just got to push relentlessly hard, haven't you? And it's about how well you can finesse that attack.
Yeah.
It really is a proper race.
Yeah.
But I guess that's part of part of the name of the
That's right.
game. All right then.
Okay.
Let's see each other in one tank down's time.
Okay.
Okay. Cheers.
Bye. Right.
Okay, Martin.
You found that tough, yeah?
It was tough, yeah. It didn't help from the start. The shot that took my tank out as expected right at the start.
Yeah.
And my only hope was that you was going to roll my sniper, and I'd had my sniper on your crew exposed tank.
Yeah.
And I got a 2, didn't I? So I stunned the tank.
Yeah, but it didn't save you.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to roll an 8 or so to hit it. I think it wasn't certain, but it was but newbie error, wasn't it? It's one of those things you know you do it and you forget to check it. Yeah,
exactly. So I rolled 4 double ones,
and
3 of which were ridiculously powerful in terms of what was going on. So the first one, which was quite fun, was we had the half track trying to shoot at your ISU ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's got a 26 front armour.
To be fair, it was at the rear.
Yeah, right. I was
saying,
as in my tank killers can't destroy it at all.
Mm.
You park literally in front of.
Ignored it.
Yeah, my half track.
I didn't think there was any threat at all.
And we worked out that it still needed. I think my to kill is something like 10.
Yeah.
Your rear armour is 11.
Yeah.
And you just you didn't care. And we were like, well, it needs double 1.
Yeah.
Rolled a double 1.
You rolled double 1, of course.
And then
it was a reasonable chance, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I killed one of the tanks right at the start with a Panzerfaust as well.
Yeah.
And I got another one with the Panzerfaust towards the end. The other 2 double ones I got were the I was routing.
And we weren't sure about the rule here, were we?
Yeah, so you declared no quarter.
Yeah.
I had to route across the road to take interdiction.
You're double 1 on that roll.
Double 1.
Yeah.
So they rally.
Yeah.
And at that point, I got a hero as well. And at that point, we think that they stop.
Because they can't route.
That's it. Which wasn't great, because then they stopped in the middle of the road, but I mean, it's fine.
Better than being broken. But
it was.
We weren't sure whether they would have continued to the sort of declared destination or not.
And we think they stopped
we thought they stopped. That's how we played it.
And then I got another double 1 where you said to me, well, that's not going to happen.
So I kept saying things like that. Oh, you need another one. It's hardly worth rolling it. Double 1. Yeah.
That was another broken conscript.
Yeah. It was interesting because it was a fallback defence, really, that you had to conduct there a little bit. As far as the infantry is concerned, a little bit like sort of the famous one, number 1. What's it called? The Finnish one.
Oh, fighting withdrawal.
Fighting withdrawal.
Yeah, no,
there's an element of that.
It's a very similar. It's like a mini fighting withdrawal with big tanks.
With tanks.
The tricky thing, I think, from my point of view, was I couldn't stand up to those tanks at all.
No.
And I haven't got.
It frustrated me that I broke a lot of your armour a lot of your infantry, and that was my plan. And as you routed back and moved back, and so you're able to bring quite a bit of it back, and it slowed me down, and it caused me a little bit of a headache. But in the end, it wasn't enough.
Fairly simply.
I think fairly safe at the end.
One of the things that also, I mean, it didn't make a difference here, but I was thinking it's almost trivial for you. You only need. I have to have good order squads in the building. So
all I've got to do is get in close combat.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it was relatively straightforward for you to do that, even though you managed to break them all anyway.
Yeah.
And at that point, where you've got 4 or 5 squads lined up, I can't.
The thing is, it looks strong, but it's got that wall. It's got that stone wall in front of it, and that is
great for you.
Real weakness. And also, of course, we ended up with like half my tanks as burning wrecks in front of it. That helps us approach as well, doesn't it? So,
it was.
I did only have 2 tanks left at the end.
Yep. Yeah, and there was a potential chance I could have won I had 3 units left for Panzerfaust, and one pinned. The other one didn't get it. Didn't bother with the last one.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that if you fire a Panzerfaust, you potentially give the game away by breaking your own multi-man counter. But I mean, by that stage, it was worth you doing it because there was
exactly.
Yeah.
So quite a nice little scenario. I thought I like to think I called it at the start that it was going to be tough on the Germans just because those massive tanks and my one job, my tank killers, they can't stand up to those guys.
They really didn't kill any tanks. Well, they might have done kill. Did they kill any tanks? They didn't kill any. The only one who had a good shot malfunctioned.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he malfunctioned next.
And he's the one that immobilised as well.
Immobilised, malfunctioned, got taken out by
one firepower.
So we have
machine gun.
So that's another question. So So we had the issue with a close combat against the SN weapon. I'm going to call it. You know how to pronounce it.
No, I don't know how to pronounce it. Snurgyworthy.
That's it. Now, against a withdrawing squad, I don't think we apply the -4 to it, the broken and the minus.
Yeah, we didn't know, and we looked at the rules and it wasn't clear.
So then, do we assume that then he withdraws out?
So I think the question really is it a close combat attack?
Right.
Then see,
it's an IFE attack.
That's where it's calls it HE or something like that. So that's why I thought no. Also makes it so punitive, doesn't it? I mean, like having a -4.
It's brutal. You can't. That doesn't seem right.
But But we didn't know. We weren't sure. We kind of fudged it because it wasn't relevant to the end of the game.
That's right,
It was on the last turn.
Yeah.
The other thing, and actually I don't think this is difficult, but we'd have to check it. We weren't sure if I could once your tank was immobile, was I held in melee? Was my infantry held in melee? Yeah.
But yeah, that's another one. So so well played. You done brilliantly. It was I think from my start, even though I don't think it would have changed very much, because I think even with that position, I think you can still drive the tanks almost invulnerably towards my guys.
Yeah.
And there's not very many
chances can even survive Panzerfaust attacks, can't they? Definitely in danger of Panzerfaust. But
no, you agree. And it is tough because it's very similar to, I think, the scenario we played a little while ago, where if only I'm attacking the tanks, your infantry are having a free reign. And it's the infantry that are going to win the game.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but it was nice scenario.
That's nice.
Didn't get to read up on the. I don't have. I think it's 23, so I didn't get to read up on the notes about this one, which will be interesting to see because I think often they're quite useful to read up on.
Absolutely.
Help. So well played.
So how do you defend?
How defend differently? Put the tanks not in line of sight to start with.
Well, that would have helped, but wherever you put them, I can still roll up to them front on, can't I?
Yeah.
Unless you find some way of protecting the sides.
I think perhaps using more use of the upper levels. I focus more on getting back, so I tried to avoid the upper levels. Where I did get into the upper levels, I was okay. I slowed you down. Yeah. But you were able to just jump up, and I mean, you had some brilliant advancing fire shots. You know, there was some 16, 20 firepower shots. You know, for a scenario that only has 8.5 spots.
I've got 2 negative modifier leaders in a relatively small scenario, so I nearly always had a leader to lead it as well.
Yep, exactly. So it's a nice scenario. Nice. I mean, it's tough on the Germans, but nothing that it's not unwinnable or anything.
No.
So onwards, upwards.
Yeah.
We are up to. We're going to play now the secret one. The secret one.
Yeah.
Which. So as I was saying.
Yes.
Diabolical Shrapnel.
Diabolical Shrapnel. Right. Excellent.
It's a design pack. Eastside Gamers number 26.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a go at that one.
We're going to set that up now, yeah?
And crack on with it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, cheers.
Right then, so we're play.
We've set up.
Yep.
We're playing diabolical
shelling as shrapnel. That's right.
We've figured out why it's called that.
Yeah.
It's a bizarre SSR. Do you want to talk about the SSR?
Yeah. So you can have both have got sniper of 6. Sniper of 6. There's going to be a lot of snipers.
Yeah.
You can have a regular sniper, or you can have. You can take it as naval shelling.
Yep.
And it's
random naval shelling.
Random naval shelling, and it's like 200 IFE, isn't it, in 1 hex?
So not quite. I think 120 or 100.
Oh right, depending whether it's a 1 or a 2.
Yeah. So you're basically it's like a sniper, but a super, very powerful sniper.
Yeah.
How many times are you going to select a sniper over a random naval?
Oh, I'm going for the random naval every time.
Yeah.
And they can't land on you because that's what we thought at first. Because you choose your target in the same way you'd normally choose a sniper. You just simply have to decide whether it's a regular sniper or a random naval death.
Yeah. So there's if you get a 1 to 4, it's a random naval. Yeah. And then you get this target selection is determined assumingly as normal. So
that's how it appears. Yeah.
Roll your dice, your direction, distance, and then find a new one. So it does seem like it's homing missiles rather than random.
And it's interesting when you actually play with naval OBA, it doesn't give you a neat 1 hex sort of like it does a bigger blast area than the normal OBA. Yeah. But it's not the only nuts thing about this scenario, is it?
Tell us more.
Well, there's just millions of Italians, isn't there? There's.
It's like a scene of Zulu.
Yeah.
There's a lot of attack. I'm like Michael Caine in the back ranks here.
I mean, they do suffer from quality problems, but their leadership is very good. Yeah.
You like you said, you couldn't find the 9-2. There's not many 9-2 leaders.
There's only one in the counter mix.
Yeah. So you've got him. I'm using Italian medium machine guns,
which are going to malfunction almost very quickly, aren't they? Yeah.
I have to spread out fairly. The SSR says I've got to spread out, so I've got a 747 in every multi-hex building. You've got to capture all 4 multi-hex buildings, or get off 18 points worth of stuff.
That's right.
You've got a 10-2 armour leader, artillery leader.
Artillery leader, yeah.
So just by SSR.
And a 150mm gun.
Yeah.
So I think once you start losing you're all concealed, but once you start losing the concealment, that's going to start hitting home, isn't it?
Everything's going to hit hard.
Yeah,
I think in this one. I'm petrified.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Just to command that many I mean, I didn't know what to do with them at first. I didn't know where to put them.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You've run out of space for it. So So 5.5 turns.
Yeah.
Let's do
see
it.
what happens. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good luck.
Yes.
So we didn't really talk about the setup, did we? This one?
No, we didn't really. We didn't even explain the scenario, really, did we?
It was pizza, really, wasn't it? So we've got. Okay, let's explain this. So we've got. How many we've got? We've got 11 American squad. Well, actually, no, 6 American squads and 5 half squads defending board 12 and 15 against a proper army, isn't it?
Yeah,
a proper army
there's
of
loads of Italians.
23 or something squads. We've got this. We've explained about this naval thing, which we've figured out isn't quite as surefire as everything else because you've still got to get the 1 and the 2, and then you've got to roll a subsequent 1 to 4.
That's right. So you roll a 1 or a 2, so you've activated a sniper, and then you decide whether you want to have the certainty of that sniper shot, or you go for the naval one, which is quite powerful, but it only lands on a 1 to 4, doesn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Now we've had a lot of activations.
Well, we've both been rolling a lot of 6s.
We have.
You've been rolling total 6.
You've rolled a lot,
and I've been rolling double
6.
6. Yeah.
You have rolled as bad as I've ever seen you roll.
Yeah, I got to say that was pretty bad.
And the Italians are very unforgiving, and so.
Yeah, and actually, but there's not terrible quality in the Italian force. I mean, they've got good leadership. There's quite a lot of 447s. Then it kind of goes. There's loads of the 347s, isn't there? And then you've got, but there are no conscripts.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you roll double 6, new ELR, casualty reduce. Break.
I have rolled a double 6 as well, but it was actually quite lucky for me.
That's
Not
right.
very often the double 6s are good for you, but my rally attempt of a self-rally of a broken squad that was about to get taken prisoner anyway.
Yeah.
And so just giving you less points to jump off.
That's right, because they all count double in this scenario if I can get them off. So
yeah. You've had a berserk squad. Yeah. Got mowed down in the gully. You've almost rubbled a whole building.
Yeah.
Now we had a question here about if this victory condition is all about building control, and if you rubble the building through your action of a gun.
Yeah.
What happens to the victory conditions of being able to control that building?
No, we didn't check it because we didn't destroy the building. But
right.
I think the rule you're thinking of is to do with
blazes. Where you can't enter it. So you think that you can still capture
I think
the
you
rubble.
can still capture the rubble. But,
Seems fair.
But it would be something we would need to check if we were. Yeah.
Because they're also about rubble being considered a building for ambush and route purposes in red barricades or whatever. But it doesn't talk about it in terms of location control. But I assume, by the spirit, it would be that you.
But we should check it, I suppose. Yeah. But that's the other thing. We had that amazing gun, that 150mm gun, which isn't. Well, it's got a -2 ordnance leader, which helps.
It does help.
It's not going to hit all the time. It's not got It hasn't got rate of fire. But my word,
when it hits and you roll a 3 on the effects. Suddenly half the building's left. And literally, you
and actually, your 747 squad was 747 squad, was it?
Not anymore. Yeah.
No.
It
died like 8 different ways, didn't it? The
rubble
fell on it. It was a 4 KIA.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
But so in terms of this scenario, so it is quite fun because it's kind of crazy.
It's a lot of fun.
There's always, but it's a pretty static defence for the Americans. There's not a lot I can really do. There's a lot of. You're taking a lot of down 2 shots that you're having to take as in I'm shooting at you. So you've got to keep your personal morale up, I think.
Yeah, and it has definitely wilted. But that big army is starting to not feel quite so big already because there's a lot of those checks and casualty reductions I've had. But also, I am starting to get into some decent fire groups together.
Yep.
But
when you say decent fire groups, they're 12 firepower, aren't they?
But with a -2 leader and a hero and stuff like that, you can really you can bring it down. So we're getting there a little bit, but it feels really tough. And you're 337s.
Yeah, almost outmatch your squad.
They're just as tough as mine, and they're just out there as little speed bumps, but I can't get past them. You know, I can't break them. I can't approach them.
and it is, you know, like Fight with Draw. You know, talked about that one last night.
Yeah.
You know how the sniper levels are very high on that, aren't they? And it's a little bit like that with this one, where you are a little bit nervous to fight. Every time we roll a 6, our hearts stop.
Yeah,
it is, and I'm looking forward to having a couple of those.
I mean, I've got some big kill stacks out there now, as you say. Like they're really big, like 12, whatever.
It's all relative.
But you know that Navy stuff lands on me. That is a risky approach. Yeah, and I thought you were in that position, but actually you're relatively spread out.
Yes. Yeah.
The other thing is every time you fire those, because you've got tons of Italian machine guns, the Americans, you're paying the captured use penalty.
Yep.
So 9s and they've gone.
Yep.
And I think you've lost 1.
Well, I lost 1 already. Yeah. No rate of fire, but one rate of fire of 1 on them.
So actually firing those is dodgy because A, you can lose them.
Yeah.
B, they can activate snipers.
Yep.
You know, you need to be careful with your shots.
Yeah. The story reminds me a little bit of is it Defiance on Hill 30, where you've got the paratroopers holding off the Germans as they're coming up, and you've got the high ground. It's a little bit like that. But I mean, it's quite fun. I mean, it's good to play with different types of troops. You don't often play Italian against American.
Very rare you play Americans with Italian equipment.
Right, very rare. With random naval. Okay, so it's coming up to turn 3, so we're going to crack on now. Wales have lost, unfortunately.
It's quite substantially, apparently.
Yeah, 4-0. So,
there we go.
Yeah.
I told you I'm not following it.
Not anymore.
No.
You're English now, aren't you? This is you're going to do that, right? Okay, then. So on we go. Yep. Turn 3 coming up.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Well, there's a sigh. There's a sigh I don't hear often at the moment from you.
So I mean, I felt at the first turn, since we recorded, felt like it went very well.
Yep.
I smashed the front lines to pieces. I had about 6 points of prisoners. Well, 3 points of prisoners, but doubled if I get them off.
Yep.
That's a third of the victory points if I can get them off. And I got loads of infantry again. I was like just thinking, right, I get infiltrate all over the place. And everything I did at the beginning was to get to this one position, which was hex R6, where you were on level 1, a 747 with a medium machine gun and an 8-1 -1 leader, and everything I did went wrong.
We didn't go. I got lucky, didn't I? So I mean, I was shooting, I was final protective firing.
Yeah.
You had your hero with the demo charge that I managed to pin. Wounded rather than because he'd moved more than 3.
And then he died. How did he die?
He died because he got another wound.
That's right. The next turn.
From across the. So you had a massive stack in there as well by the end of it.
9-2 leader,
who's still around, but he's
broken and run away
in that massive
stack. The hero that's dead. The whole stack of them. It was
my prisoners have died.
And your prisoners have died. So I haven't got those. I've got 1.5 squad left.
Right.
So it's not quite the same.
Yeah. We've had no sniper activations still. We've had so many sniper rolls. No activations.
So that's been sad.
But as we've said, I've only got 4 points. I've only got 4 kind of, or 5. Sorry, 5 points of like hexes that I'm controlling.
So we do keep sort of saying like one good sniper in the right place can change the game, perhaps. Either way, but I mean it's very very much going your way at the moment. Very difficult to see I can capture the furthermost building.
Right, it looks tough. Yeah, it does look tough. But
the one I'm in probably can take. The other one difficult. So too difficult to the potential.
Yeah, and that's because the 747s against the Italians is where there's strength. You know, you've had some decent success where you've built up some small but powerful-ish fire groups for the scenario. But it's mainly been your gun, which is very good.
The gun's great.
And then
takes time to acquire, and once it's got it, it's bang.
It's pretty good. So it's I mean I'd say it's in my balance, maybe my favourite moment.
Definitely. It's very hard for me to get many off, I think, because I've got to.
You've got to get a lot off.
I've got to get a lot off, and you can fire at the first hex that I can sneak into. But we never know. A couple of snipers, and you'll be the one. You'll be the crying one.
I will be. Absolutely will be. Yeah, exactly. It will turn very quickly. So I'd say it's a dicey scenario, but it's actually you can manage your luck a little bit, can't you? Because you can choose which shots you take. You have got to cross an awful lot of open ground as Italians, which is very tough.
And you can't really hang around. Although it seems like you've got plenty of time, can't really hang around.
We haven't looked at the balance yet.
That'd be interesting to see.
What would your prediction be on the balance here?
I think it's probably pro-Italian.
You think pro-Italian?
Well, I mean, I think I've had some atrocious luck in
You have a terrible luck. You've rolled a lot of double
and okay, I'm by no means, I'm not in this game really. I mean, I was tempted to resign at one point, but without that bad luck, I mean, I think the luck got a bit more even.
I think definitely, given that when the sniper, the OBA hits as a sniper, the Americans are in a much more concentrated area. Although it only hits one hex, that one hex, if you've only got 5 strong points like I've got right now, it's a much bigger. Yeah. You know, if I hit a sniper right now and it's
you're most likely going to hit a 3, 4, 6 or something like that.
Exactly.
I mean, you might hit one of my bigger stacks, but I mean, all my stacks are broken anyway.
Yeah. No, but that's right. But it's not going to affect you as much as it will affect me. So therefore, you've always got a chance. You've got a puncher's chance, and you can do it. So it's not it's not lost by any stretch.
Feels a bit lost.
Wow.
I'm quite enjoying it. So
it's all right, it's okay. So we've got a turn and a half to go. Yeah. So we'll touch base at the end of the game and see our second picture before. Okay.
All right,
let's go.
Right.
Well, Martin, are you happy?
So, literally, I have moaned all the way through this game about how I was losing. I nearly resigned. It was literally pointless. It was impossible to win. I just
won in a canter in the end.
In the end.
The gun took out another two in place. Well, it took out a half squad that was running back. It took out the guys in 04. And you got into close combat. My guys got pinned in R6, the kind of the point. But you had so many. I mean, you must have had. I mean, there's 12 counters there. Maybe more than that. Coming at them.
But you only need one squad to put residual in the exit hex. That's all you need, isn't it? But as it happens in that last turn, I mean, I've moaned that I've had bad luck all the way through this game. I think that's true. But that last sort of turn or so, everything that could go wrong went wrong for you.
You had a couple of double
You
ones.
lost every close combat.
And then you had a double 1 against me, and I rolled a double 6 against it. And it's my one thing that can see the exit hex.
That can see the exit hex, exactly.
And then lost the close combat. That again, you roll a 5 and I rolled higher than a 5, and that's it. And you've got whatever it is there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 counters against my one guy, and we're 1-1.
Yeah, and I've now got prisoners, haven't I? So I think I've got 1, 2.
You're absolutely fine.
So 6 points of prisoners again.
So it was okay. It was so the naval OBA. I got 1 activation at the end there,
and I broke a backfield broken half squad.
Exactly. It was furthest back, and that was the only sniper activation we had.
It was a shame because I was hoping we'd have a bit of excitement with that, but we didn't, did we?
And so we just got to the balance. The balance is absolutely fine. 5-4 to the Italians. Nothing special there. I do feel like the Americans will suffer more for that in terms of. Because they're in strong points, they're going to get hit harder, and your gun with the -2.
The -2 leader makes it so.
Because you've got the 9-2 leader as well in the Italian OOB. So we had that point where he was pinned, and then I broke him and the squad below, and then I had a choice in the close combat because I pinned the squad or something. Yeah. Could have gone into DM a big stack. Yeah. But instead pulled back because I thought, well, okay, because you said if your 9-2 recovers.
Yeah, you can bring them all back.
And he did recover.
And he did bring them all back.
All back.
And they formed the first fire group, and then the last time I improved upon the fire group, didn't I? Yeah.
So it was all right. I think that the thing I didn't like about the scenario is that the Americans can't really move very much, and they are forced to, by SSR, they're forced to kind of defend every building. Yeah.
And I commented a couple of times that it felt like chess sometimes. Like there were very clearly places, and you're trying to get angles on them and stuff like that. It was very, very chess-like.
Yeah, but the 150 gun as well is just, I mean, it's hit kill if it hits, and that's the Americans can't show. If you read the historical account, it's clearly what the Italians did. They brought this massive gun up. And it kind of sorted the Americans out, and that's absolutely what happens here. Yeah. So well played. You didn't need to worry in the end. Did well. And that's the other thing is because 23 multi-man counts, whatever you've got, you're always going to be able to encircle, and you did that. You kind of ran round, and so you kind of cut off the route pass anyway. Yeah. And even when it felt like I was doing fine, KIAs here, and all this kind of stuff. You don't really care, because you've got so many of them. You can, you can afford to take those losses, and you did.
And actually, although it was a little bit difficult deciding what best to do with leaders, I did have 4 leaders, so I could do a bit of rallying and.
You were in. Done well.
Yeah.
I think the only downside, your mortar didn't do much. It got broken early on, didn't it?
That did.
Was,
it's still lying there.
It's still lying there.
Yeah. The archaeologists will find that one.
They will.
Yeah.
They will. So,
well, thanks, Dave. So that's
2-0. So the double one tournament for you is the Barker household.
Do you know what? I always do disastrously in tournaments, but double one I always do well. Well, we're not technically at double one, are we? But
we're there.
We are.
In spirit. We should say a big thanks to all the guys that run double one, and I know they're
brilliant.
Morris,
they're absolutely brilliant.
Simon and Derek. They do a good job. So.
And this morning we were asking them to send us scans, and they were like that.
They were good, weren't they? They were very good. So we know there's a lot of hard work doing these tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a fantastic tournament when it actually takes place. I'm sure it was great online, but when it actually takes place, it's a lot of fun, isn't it?
And we should talk about it a bit because so it's at Writtle College, which is a small agricultural college in Chelmsford, near Chelmsford in Essex.
Yeah.
When I heard very first thing about it's in a college, you think it sounds a bit boring. It's a bit because we got this B&B in Blackpool that we sometimes go to for the other tournaments in the UK. And actually, it's a lovely venue, isn't
perfect.
it? It's perfect. It's like it's in a very nice set of grounds. We've got brilliant rooms.
Because they're all agricultural, so they're all going around pruning the roses, aren't they? I mean, it's beautiful. And it's always in the midsummer, so it's always, the weather's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Student bar with cheap
booze.
There is.
Exactly. There's Indy sometimes turns up, and we're happy to see him.
Nick's normally there.
Nick, we should mention, so we've just seen Nick started watching our video. So Nick will watch this video in about 6 years' time when he's caught up with all the other videos. So he's been diligently leaving comments. He's done the first 3.
So this is a message to Nick the old man.
Sell Tesla shares and buy it. All right, well, okay, so tomorrow we're going to play the last one.
Yes.
So we'll
and you're going to attack.
I am going to attack. That is
Which means I'm going to be up all night now working out my defence.
So I'm not going to pick a scenario until very late tomorrow morning.
And we've got some champagne.
We have got some champagne, which I should present you as the victor. But all right, well, and we're going to crack on tomorrow and see how it goes. Yeah. All right, cool.
Right, so it's worth saying that this is probably our first ever 2-day episode.
It is. It is our first 2-day episode, and I haven't won a game. But I feel that's a polite thing to do when you're feeding with teas.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're around my house.
Yeah, it's so if you remember that next time you come. We had a quick conversation. I'm kind of keen to this. We had a conversation about what you should bring to someone's house.
Oh yeah.
Like when you're turning up, and I know I've written an article about it, so etiquette and stuff. But what's the minimum when you go into someone's house? What's the minimum you bring in terms of ASL equipment?
So is the subtext here that I generally turn up at your house with like my dice tower, and you turn up with champagne, beer, pizzas?
No. So for example, like it's the right thing to do, I think, to bring your own rule book.
Yeah.
And bring perhaps charts.
Yeah.
Dice, do you think?
I think it's easier, isn't it, to take. Some people are funny about dice. I'm not, but I'd be happy to share. But I think it's this table's quite wide. It's easier if we got our own dice tower.
It is useful to have to see someone else's dice results as well, isn't it? And I think that's quite useful.
And the thing is, you don't pick them up straight away. So you roll for the machine gun, and then I'm going to do my morale check, and then we go. Did you keep the? Did we keep
it's
the...
broken. It's always broken.
It's broken. Did you keep rate of fire? That's what I'm trying to say. Serious point. But whereas we've got separate dice, you can leave yours there. That doesn't make perfect sense, doesn't it, to bring your own stuff.
What do you think about funny rules? Like, for example, the 3rd rate of fire dice and stuff like that. Have you ever tried that? Have you ever played that?
Never tried it.
We should play that one time just to. I think that's what we should do. An episode of variants.
Right now, that's not even like a house rule. That's in the rule book as an optional way of playing, isn't it?
There is, and Steve Plaver advocates it. Advocates it.
I don't see the benefit.
Well, so the reason, the argument for it, I think, is to try to, because rate of fire exacerbates good rolls.
That's true. Yeah.
And this it kind of gives you.
It separates it from it.
Yes.
Yeah. You can have a bad roll, but rate of fire, etc.
Yeah. Exactly. So I'd be kind of interested in that. It does mean that you get some very confusing rolls where you get like 661 or something, and you're like, work out that's a good roll or a bad roll or in between, and things like that. It is our minds are quite. What about other house rules? Like we've talked before about no vehicle bypass sleeves. You'd never play something like that, would you? In terms of or ask for it?
I've certainly never asked to change the regular rule.
Right.
We both know one British gamer who I think may even have dropped out of ASL now, but who hated that rule, and I think would play friendly games with people who wouldn't bypass freeze. But when he was involved in tournaments, of course, he couldn't ask people to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
But did. So, what about? So, would you ever ask for or play in a particular way? So, for example, if someone was anti, I don't know, like Miller 18, the Miller 18 scenario. There's some feelings about that scenario being inappropriate and things like that. Would you ever kind of avoid a scenario on the basis of how
well, I mean, you've got to play a game that you agree to play. I mean, obviously, if somebody said, I hope you don't mind, but I really feel it's not right to play Miller 18, I go, all right, we'll play something else. But I probably would play a Miller 18 scenario. I'm disassociating it from it. I mean, this is all horrific to me.
Yes.
It's awful things happen in all these scenarios. But I'd respect somebody else's opinion being different. I'm that particular scenario. I think Mark Cavish kind of led a very strong sort of argument, didn't he? That would be wrong to play that scenario. Yeah. He's entitled to his point of view. I wouldn't go, no, you've got to play it. Absolutely not.
Would you ever? Is there any area of the war that you would like? For example, some people don't massacre, even if it was tactically. Yeah. What do you think about that?
It's a game. I think it's a game, and there's a role play element. None of the things that you
would massacre the Jewish ghettos. You've got no problems with that. Is that what you're saying on record?
It's a game, isn't it? It's a game.
It's all a game to you.
Leave me alone. It's just Sunday morning. I just made you bacon.
No, absolutely.
As well, do you feel differently?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, to me, it's a complete game, and I've seen it pass. It's a bit like the Browns against the Oranges. It's not. It's not. I don't even.
You've even said that you wouldn't really bother you that much because you like the mechanics of the game. That you wouldn't bother you if they were aliens, or alien car bug vehicles or something.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, there's no. To me, I don't have a problem with. And in fact, one thing annoys me about the, and I'm no doubt in the minority here.
Yeah.
I don't have this affliction that it has to be a historical scenario at all. At all. I would rather.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. I don't want to see Americans versus Russians. This, that, the other in some kind of crazy. Yeah. That gets a bit too far. But I do think that this idea that each battle really has sort of represented what's happened in the war feels a little bit like doesn't matter to me. And I think maybe the design space would be a little bit more opened if people weren't so worried about trying to find the sources for the battles.
Yeah, and I think one of the awkward things is, especially if we're playing on geo boards, is that you're not even you can't really hope to portray anything that's realistic.
Right.
It's an absolute myth to think that you are. I think, but it's but that's a part of the willing suspension of disbelief, isn't it? If you want to engage in it as you're recreating a battle, you can in your imagination you can pretend that that's what you're doing.
Right.
Whereas with Russians v Americans, you can't suspend your disbelief.
That's right, and that's maybe a bit weird. But so the thing then is that it's nice, for example, like for yesterday's scenario, the craziness of the big OBA coming down, and given that's a historical scenario, it does give me a sense of wow, that was horrible, and I get a feeling of this is just bonkers. What's going on? But in a way, given that 98% of the scenarios we play are all historical, it feels like we skirt over that historical rereading of what happened a little bit too much because we just take it for granted. This happened.
Yeah, we don't ever talk about the history, do we?
Yeah, so maybe if there was less historical scenarios, the ones that were historical would stand out a little bit more. And we're in a position where there's 8,000 or so scenarios. We're never going to get there. But yeah, I don't have this hang up about them being historically.
Did I ever tell you about the guy? I think this was on Game Squad. I think this guy mentioned this story, and he was playing ASL at home. I think he was still a kid or a teenager, and his grandfather, who'd been a soldier in World War II, came along and was like, "What you doing, sonny?" And he explained to him, and his grandfather was horrified that the things he'd experienced in war were being depicted in a game.
That is an awkward.
It is awkward, isn't it?
Yeah, you can sense.
Don't show Grandad is probably the.
Yeah, that is tough.
Yeah.
And
there's no answer to that, really.
No.
I mean, you can say, well, I'm not glorifying war.
You're getting entertainment out of it.
Yeah.
You're right. It is. It's very difficult, and there's
difficult. And I think it would be different almost if you were sort of playing with toy soldiers or something, where there's a certain amount of anonymity about the game. But here, you've got the name of the person. Who's
that's right.
Yeah, he's represented by a counter,
and it wouldn't be
he died
impossible that you
screaming for his mother or something.
Exactly. You can play a scenario where that guy was involved, for example, the granddad.
Could be,
and that would be, that was a bit kind of brutal.
Difficult. I got no answer to that. If I'm honest with you.
And the interesting thing there is the longer we go away from the war, the less relevant this game becomes. I mean, there is that side of it as well.
Yeah.
But there has to be a point where it's been, like, for example, the Desert War, the Iraq War and things like that.
Yeah.
There are veterans there that you would walk past if you were in America, for example, or even the UK.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There are veterans you walk past every day, I'm sure, that took part in that battle. If you were excited about going to play a war game that featured the stuff that they had gone through, and you were telling them, "Oh, I'm going after," it would be an awkward. Again,
couldn't it?
An awkward conversation.
Yeah. I do know veterans from Afghanistan anyway, who aren't fazed by people playing war games, and occasionally you get veterans that play war games. Yeah. So I think this is capable of being interpreted in different ways by different people, isn't it? But it is an interesting point.
Do you think this is any dissimilar to playing Call of Duty or Modern Warfare on a PC in terms of gaining entertainment that is on a war level? Is there a difference? Because we're older, we should be wiser, we shouldn't be enjoying that aspect of it, or this is more cerebral and therefore it's not as violent as like a Call of Duty style thing. Do you think the granddad would have had the same response, for example, to a World War II shooting game?
I don't know. I mean, they're very different, aren't they? In some respects, perhaps you might even argue it's slightly more alarming to see young people kind of shooting people than rolling dice or something. You could argue, but then there's more anonymity to that. It is just a game. It doesn't pretend to be mimicking real history. And I'm calling it history, but of course it isn't history to everybody, is it? Right. It's not many people alive perhaps that remember fighting in the war, but it's not quite history for some people. Yeah. My stepmother remembers the war, as an 8-9-year-old, being bombed in London and things like that. But she wasn't in any of these battles, obviously. No. So I don't know, Dave. I don't know. The honest answer is I've always been fascinated by war. I've always wanted to play things. I'm personally a very kind of like peaceful person. I'm very, very slow to anger. The last thing I want to do is hurt anybody.
You hurt me with your dice.
I know, I do. I know, sorry, I do. And the honest thing is, I sometimes don't quite know how you can square it, if it can be squared. I mean, I don't do any harm doing this. No one's hurt in the playing of these scenarios. And I'm fascinated by the history. I've got respect for people that have to go through those kinds of experiences, and I think and that's not morally straightforward, is it? Somebody coming back from a war, their hands are not necessarily clean, but it doesn't keep me awake at night that I play ASL. No,
that's fine. It does keep me awake, but more from the dice rolls and the ASL dreams that we all have after a long game of ASL.
Yeah, I didn't go. So I stayed up after you went to bed straight after the Lego show. It was very admirable. I stayed up for an hour or so.
Recounting it.
Yeah,
telling your friends. And then I rolled a 3 and a 4 and he did this. And
I now have no friends, do I?
So what are we playing this morning? We are playing, you can pronounce this one.
Oh gosh. So it's for the Honour of Rome.
Is it really?
But it's in Italian.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's
Italian.
Per l'Onore Di Roma.
Very good, very good. I'm going to say it's Q6 from the quick scenario pack.
Yeah.
Russians against Italians.
Yeah.
You are defending the Russians with the Russians.
It's quite big for a Sunday morning last tournament because people often have to get off by lunch, don't they? And
That's
things
true.
like that.
That's true.
Some of the others are much smaller. But we're not perhaps in the same.
We turned away the desert scenario, and there was another one that which was the bridge. Was it the bridge one with the Chinese?
That's right. Yes, Bridge of Life.
Yeah, so we turned those away. It's funny because playing a scenario like this, which is quite straightforward, infantry only. Yeah. It's not huge. It's half a board. It feels like a Sunday morning scenario as well. It's got that feeling of a Sunday morning scenario. So it's quite nice like that.
Yeah. There's actually quite a sizable force of Italians, but they're very poor quality, worse quality than the Italians I had last night.
Right, exactly that. So we've got what we got. So 12 Italian squads with some reinforcements, trying to take 4 or 3 of the 4 stone buildings on board 70. You're defending with
4 squads initially.
A couple of half squads, a couple of vehicle crews, and a couple of mortars, and an interesting rule about the concealment counters.
Yes, I thought this is quite a good rule. Although you've been desperately doing like bizarre quadratic equations trying to work out. So I get 3 concealment counters. I can set up concealed because you set up off board, so everything's concealed. I have an additional 3 potentially dummy counters, and I can roll 1 dice and I add the number on that dice in dummy counters. Right. So you will not know, unless you're able to work it out by cunning maths, how many dummy counters I have.
That's right.
So I thought it was quite good.
It is. So I try to count all the counters and try to work out based on the numbers on the top. Yeah. You obviously can't work it out exactly, but I figure you've got. I think you've rolled a 3 or maybe a 2, but you've got 3 dummy stacks, something like that. That was my guess. My first numbers came out that you'd rolled a 0.
Yeah.
I don't think that's exactly right. I didn't check my workings on that one. So, all right. So it's 6 turns. So we'll check in every couple of turns, and we'll take a picture of it each turn.
Let you know how we get on.
And we'll see this dead rubber. No one's interested in this result now because the result of the virtual Barker.
Oh, but the Sunday game counts as 2 points.
Does it count as that? Oh, okay. All right. So you're saying there's a chance. Okay.
Chance of a draw.
I'll take that. All right then. Okay. Well, good luck.
Yeah.
And
you too.
we'll see. Okay, Martin. So we are 1.5 turns into this game. How's it going?
It's gone all right.
It's gone all right. So out of 12, 11 squads, I have 2 squads left unbroken.
Oh, as much as that.
As much as that.
Yeah.
I have 1 disrupted leader, no other leader on board. We've called it. You know, sometimes when they say the only luck you have is bad luck.
Yeah.
My double 1 on my Snake Eyes leadership morale check of my 2 morale check against your medium machine gun results in disruption of the surrendering of the leader, and he's only surrounded by a dummy unit as well, but still disrupts. That's hard. So we just talked about this in terms of Italians with 6 morale attacking across open ground and into stone buildings with you having double medium machine guns and a -1 leader.
Yeah, so 16 firepower led by the -1 leader in a stone building, surrounded by other units defending it.
Yeah.
It's just so difficult to approach that.
Yeah, and I mean, I made decent progress. I got into melee, all the way up into what's it, J2, J3.
Yeah.
Lost the 1-to-1 melee. And your guys, the only one I broke was the crew that self-rallied.
Yeah.
And I'm left with two. I mean, and the thing is, all my guys now have broken morale 4. They're not coming back anytime soon.
I won the mortar duel. That could have gone the other way.
Yeah.
The close combat could have gone the other way, or we could have been locked in melee.
Yeah. And you can roll an 11 on the medium machine gun instead of.
Instead of. I mean, I don't think they were particularly low rolls or anything.
No.
But as long as it keeps firing away and that stack is in order.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really difficult.
Yeah.
And like I was just saying, wasn't I? Like when you attack with Americans, they might have they mostly have 6 morale, don't they? But they've got big firepower. They've got advancing fire.
You've got morale.
They've got really good broken morale. They're coming. None of these guys are coming back, or very, very, very slowly. Americans can come back on their own without leadership, albeit only 1 per turn, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just not as difficult as that felt. Yeah.
It's not a fun game, is it? For either of us, I guess. I mean, I guess it's quite fun for you.
I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's like a duck shoot, isn't it? But and you even said I was being cautious, and I was being cautious. You know,
you were not
only
pressing
assault
that.
moves. There was nothing. There's so little cover there. So we have to announce you the winner. Congratulations!
Dave, I thought we were going to drink this last night together.
Well, we didn't. But congratulations.
That's brilliant. Thank you.
So on the double one, little zip there.
Tennis ball.
It's nice.
That's right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel I earned it.
Yeah, you did. You certainly did. We can't do our Patreon drive. Try to log into Patreon. We can't do it.
With that.
Yeah,
do it next time.
So we will do it next time.
Yeah.
So
we're meeting up in just a few days, hopefully.
So we're going to do Tuesday. We're going to do the
the
roundup of the the quarterfinals for the tournament. Yeah. Okay, so for the semi-finals, we have David Garvin versus Tom Rapetti, and we have Tomo against Morris. Yeah. So we've got our English contingent still
hanging in there.
Yes, we've got the Americans against the Europeans. So we had American versus European final, which is something to cheer on. And they're going to be playing the closer from Action Pack 14. That's what's going on right now. So those guys are doing. So good luck for those guys. Yeah, we're going to go through the quarterfinals.
Going to go through the quarterfinal games next week. Yeah,
it features you.
It features me. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
we keep wanting to say what the result is.
Well, we know. Yeah,
we do know. We do know.
You're not in the semi-final. So we can reveal that you were knocked out there. Yeah. But we're looking forward to seeing that. It'd be nice to see you lose for once. See that for a while. I guess until then. So thanks again for everyone supporting us. I mean, give us some suggestions.
We're going to feel free to.
Yeah, we're going to play our Twitch game at some point as well soon.
Yeah,
that's going to happen. Perhaps week after next, depending on your timings.
We'll
figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Right now. Until then, guys. Again, thanks. Double one. Apologies it couldn't happen for Derek and Morris and Simon. It's a shame we missed out on that. Indy has his pack going by boat, Indy, so don't wait on the doorstep.
Via China, it's going the wrong way around the world.
It's going to take some more time, but it's going to get there within 42 days, I'm told.
Yeah.
So look out for that.
It's cheaper to send it one counter at a time, isn't it?
All right. So until then, cheers, Martin. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Take care, all. Bye bye.